Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. So in today's video I'm going to be building in the world of Myshuno, which is the world that we got with the expansion pack The Sims 4 City Living, and I'm going to be building an industrial penthouse apartment using all the new items that we got from the latest kit, The Sims 4 Industrial Loft Kit, which came out last night. That's a mouthful to say. I mean, I say last night, it really does depend on where you live in the world. For me, this pack came out at 6 o'clock UK time, or 6 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, which I don't know who controls the release timers for all the different content for The Sims 4, but I just want to have a word because we had to wait around. Everyone in the UK had to wait around all day for this kit to be released, and it's just so annoying that it comes out so late in the day. But I understand it's because the different time zones and whatnot, but can we not just push it forward a little bit, maybe have a midday release instead or something like that? But yeah, it took me around about 6.5 hours to build this penthouse apartment. I had a lot of fun doing it, and the funny thing is I actually got to the end of it and it was probably about, I think it was 3:15 this morning when I finished it. And you would think at 3:15 you'd be knackered and you just want to go straight to bed. I actually wish that there was more rooms for me to decorate because I had so much fun decorating in this kind of industrial style, because it's not a style that I really tend to normally decorate in. I need to do some more in this kind of style, some more builds, even just like houses as well, because it's a lot of fun. And now we've got a small extra amount of content in the industrial style and I really like it. But moving on from that and actually talking about the build, now this build is going to be for my save file, so I have got a storyline in mind for the Sims that are going to live here. I have absolutely fallen in love with the idea for the Sims that are going to live here in my save file. But quickly, before I move on and talk about that, I do want to talk about what I was just doing over by the side of the penthouse, kind of like the glass roof section. So I really wanted there to be a greenhouse in this apartment, and I really wanted it to be quite an extravagant kind of feature of the build. But what I wanted to have is kind of like nice lines going, like the windows that we got from the Mosquito pack. I can never pronounce the name properly, and Lil Simsy calls it Mosquito pack, and now so do I, just because of how much I watch her videos. But the Mosquito pack, we got them windows, which I actually use a lot over this build. I really wanted something with kind of like a similar kind of like grid to that. But the actual glass roofs that we have, the actual lines in the roof to kind of like separate it into squares or rectangles or whatnot, they're not actually very dark. They're quite faint lines, and I really wanted something that would stand out. So basically what I did is I actually got these Island Living kind of like see-through glass things. You can use them on roofs. We got them on Island Living because you're meant to put them on kind of like an edge of a deck, kind of like by the ocean, so your Sims can like walk over it and see like fish underneath it and stuff like that. But what I actually did is I actually used some, I rotated them at 30 degrees, and then I basically placed them in the placement of the glass roof. It's still a roof because there is actually still the glass roof, kind of like the plain swatch underneath it. And then that way I was able to get like the nice black lines for like the grid. Hope you know what I'm talking about, but I just wanted to mention it in case you was thinking, why didn't you just use a swatch of the kind of like the squares in the roof? I just kind of wanted to be extra, and I really wanted that to kind of like dark kind of lines within the glass roof. But yeah, that's why I did that. But anyway, moving on, as you can see, I'm now going in and I've started doing all the windows and the doors. I used the new window twice in this build, so we did actually get one new window in this pack, which a bit upset about, not gonna lie, because basically in the original announcement for the kit we got shown kind of like a little video of the new archway that we got the window, we got, I think it's the wardrobe and the chair, and basically the window that they actually used in the promotional picture to kind of promote the pack and get people excited about it, or the kit, you know what I'm talking about, kit pack, same kind of thing, small pack, let's call it that. But in that announcement they basically showed the window, which doesn't exist, because as you can see the window that we actually got is the one which is at the very top of this penthouse. You can kind of see it here. It's kind of got these curved glass panels at the top, but in the actual render for the kind of promotional image or promotional video, that wasn't like that. The window was actually just all square panels, and it would kind of go nicely with the Mosquito windows. Hope you know what I'm talking about. They have actually said, I believe, that they're actually going to include it in another patch update, maybe like the next patch update or something, and it was kind of like an oversight. But it's just a bit disappointing because it's like false advertising, do you know what I mean? Like, don't advertise something that's literally not even in the game. Now don't get me wrong, I actually do really like the window with kind of like the curved glass panels at the top. I do actually quite like it. It's just the fact that it's not what was actually advertised to us at the beginning because a completely different window was advertised. And also with the window, it is really annoying, but basically, you know, these windows that I've used from the Mosquito pack, kind of like the tall, basically like floor to ceiling ones, which have got the rectangular panels. I was really hoping that if you actually place a new window above that it would kind of match up perfectly and you can have this really nice long window and maybe use it in like hallways or something, or maybe if you wanted to do a stairwell and you wanted to have a really nice big window, you could use it there. No, it doesn't line up. It's literally just a little bit off, but it doesn't actually match the window underneath it, which is just, can we also get that patched in as well? If we're going to add another window, or the window that should have been in the pack, can we also just patch that one in as well? You would have seen, I tried to kind of disguise it. I actually put the other window on the right hand side of the build, just kind of like down in the bottom corner. I tried to disguise it because I actually did end up putting the Mosquito window below and then the new window above it. And it's just not accurate. It's not like completely perfect, and it just really infuriates me. But yeah, anyway, rant over about that. Sorry, I did need to mention that because I was really disappointed with it. But moving on and actually talking about the family or the Sims I've got to live here in my save file, because like I said, I am very excited to tell everyone about their story, because I'm not even gonna lie, I might actually spend tonight making these Sims and actually make them my new current household, because this storyline that I've got in my head has got me so excited. So basically, the household consists of 2 Sims. I was personally imagining a wife and a husband, but of course it goes without saying, if you wanted to download this and you'd had a different idea for a different set of Sims that you wanted to live in this house or this penthouse apartment, then you can definitely change it and, you know, alter it in any way, shape or form. It goes without saying as well, but whenever I give kind of like backstories to my builds, you don't have to stick to them, by the way. I just like giving them because I kind of like, this sounds really cheesy, but I kind of inspire myself when I'm building, and then I get really excited and then I want to tell people about my storyline ideas. And I think some people like hearing them as well, because, you know, it gives people ideas for gameplay. And like I said, it's giving myself an idea for gameplay. I'm going to be playing with these Sims tonight. But the Sims actually met at work because they're both in quite artsy kind of careers. Now, I was personally imagining the wife to be an artist and, you know, loves painting. She has got the most beautiful art studio at the top of the penthouse. It's on the 3rd floor. It's got windows going all around the walls. It is just so light and bright in there, and it really does look like an actual art studio. I really wish, actually, because when I was building this, I was thinking about it. I really wish that we could actually have our Sims build sculptures. You know, like how we did in the Sims 3, I think it was Sims 3 Ambitions. Your Sims could actually make sculptures of actual Sims. I really wish that we could get something like that back in the Sims 4. Hopefully one day we get like a hobbies pack and it could be included in there. But I was thinking, if we did have that kind of thing in the game, this Sim would, you know, they'd be making sculptures left, right and centre. But I was also thinking that the other Sim is going to be a fashion photographer. Now, I was thinking that this Sim has been in the business for a very long time. They've got a very good client base, and, you know, they're very popular in the city of San Myshuno. And I actually imagined that they actually originally met in San Myshuno, but the wife isn't actually from the city. I was actually kind of thinking that the wife is from like a countryside area, maybe Windenburg or Brenton Bay, or I don't know, Henfield and Bagley. When I actually create my save file and I'll do like all the family trees, there'll probably be some relatives living in one of the countryside worlds, and that's kind of like where the wife comes from. Now, I actually imagine that they met in the city when there was kind of like an art gallery showing or something, and the fashion photographer just came, you know, maybe on like a Friday night, just wanted to see what it was about, met what is now his wife, and, you know, they just fell in love and they decided to move to the city. But I actually imagined that it was quite a hard decision for them, because the wife really loves being around open spaces. You know, they never imagined themselves actually leaving the countryside. They always wanted to be living around chickens and llamas and cows and stuff that we've now got with Cottage Living expansion pack. I imagine that they always saw themselves living in the countryside and never actually moving to the city. But because of the husband's such high profile job and having the majority of their clients in the city, it was kind of like a thing that they had to deal with in their relationship. And so the wife decided one day, do you know what, I will move to the city with you, so, you know, you can work, because otherwise that commute from countryside to city every single day to do the fashion no, it'll be a bit too much. So they had to live in the city. But I imagine the wife's agreement was, I'll move into the city and we'll leave in San Myshuno if you build me a greenhouse. And so that's why there is a massive greenhouse on the side of his penthouse. It kind of go hand in hand with the storyline that I've got. And that was just kind of like the idea that I had for these Sims. I imagine that they're quite sociable Sims as well, so maybe every week or every month or something, when the artist Sim, you know, creates a new painting that they're really proud of, maybe they have loads of different showings in their apartment, maybe all their friends come round, or maybe they, you know, do some like donating it to charity. Maybe they do like auctions for their paintings, and then all the money that they actually get goes to charity. You can actually do that with Get Famous, and I was actually thinking, well, not exactly that, but your Sims can actually host charity events, and I imagine that they would, but I think that you have to be quite a high level in the rankings for like the star system. Can't remember off the top of my head what star it is. Maybe it's 4. I know it's not like 1 or 2, but I don't imagine these Sims to actually be famous. I don't think your Sims are going to walk down the street, see them and, you know, faint. I imagine they're going to be the kind of Sims that your Sims walk down the street, see them and be like, oh, that's that really good artist, or oh, that's that fashion photographer for this XYZ brand. That's the kind of idea that I had in my mind. I want to give them, I think, a celebrity star rating of at least 1, because I wanted there to be some kind of acknowledgement for them, because their work is really good for both the artist and the fashion photographer. So I think the star system, like the celebrity level, is quite good for that. For the 1 star as well, it's quite, you know, it's not too much in your face, you know, you're not going to have an army of Sims following them, but it's going to kind of be, they're going to be notable people in the city. And yeah, that was the idea that I had for these Sims in my save file. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I've already moved on into the inside of this apartment, and I've already done the kitchen, the lounge room, and now I'm actually furnishing this kind of little hallway area as you'll Sim to walk through the elevator. Now, something that I've experienced in my experience of playing The Sims, you know, city living at many times. Whenever I have a Sim living in a penthouse, you've got to make sure that there's actually like a little lobby area for visitors to actually stay in, because I have had it so many times in the past where I haven't created one for my own like gameplay, and my neighbours will just walk in, or if I have a famous Sim, then I say fashion photographers will just show up, like paparazzi will just show up at my Sim's house, and they'll just be bopping around in like the kitchen or something. It's like, no, get out, what are you doing? So it was very necessary to have kind of like a little area where your Sims could, if they do have visitors, they come up the elevator, and it's like a little sofa area for them to sit at. And then I made sure that the doors that I actually use for like the front door was completely, you know, no glass, no one can see through, because I feel like they would respect their privacy, and so that's why I decided to do that. But moving on, I've started furnishing this hallway area, which kind of doubles up as a seating dining room area, but then it's also quite an open plan penthouse, so it's also kind of got the lounge in the corner. I love the lounge. I use new sofas that we got in the kit, and then I also actually use some wooden pallets, which are actually from the live edit menu, which we got from, I believe, Eco Lifestyle, and I wanted it to have that real industrial feel. So what I actually did is I found them in the live edit menu, and I kind of sized them down, and I moved objects one on top of the other to kind of make it look like maybe there was art supplies, or maybe something for the fashion photographer came in these pallets and they decided to use them as actual decoration for their apartment, because they're quite industrial looking, I think, and I don't know, I just felt like it really suited the lounge room. And then also with the kitchen, I decided to go for the base game counters. I know that we're not doing the kitchen right now. I've actually now moved on into the greenhouse, which the greenhouse, it says what it does on the tin, you know, it's got some planters for your Sims to plant some stuff in it. The way that the light comes through onto the floor is just so beautiful, and I actually moved objects, some kind of like decorational plants which are in the build and buy menu, into the wall, so it looks like there's all these different plants coming out of the brick. It's just very nice. But in the kitchen, I decided to go for some base game counters, and then I actually used the new table that we got in the kit, because it's a very similar swatch to the counter swatch. Annoyingly, it's just slightly darker, and it does frustrate me quite a bit, but I decided to use that in the kitchen. It's quite a big open kitchen. I didn't want there to be too much stuff in it, like there's not as many counters as what I could have fitted in there, but I wanted it to feel really open and light, and it's got these really beautiful windows which are from Snowy Escapes kind of on 2 of the walls. By the way, if you're wondering at the windows, you can kind of see them on the right hand side now. The windows that I've actually used for some of the places in this build are actually Snowy Escape ones. I always say, by the way, I've noticed I always say Snowy Escapes instead of Snowy Escape, but Snowy Escapes just sounds better in my head, so I always say Snowy Escapes. It doesn't matter. But them windows are from Snowy Escape, and what I actually did is I actually just merged 4 of them to kind of together to create one massive window. They're in the kitchen. It lets in so much light, and it's just so very beautiful. But then now, as you can see, I've just now moved on into the upstairs portion of this penthouse. You did quickly see me do kind of like this little hallway area which leads out into the, like, I don't want to say the back garden, but you know, like the balcony area, what do you class it as? Which I know I haven't actually decorated it yet. Basically, when I was furnishing it, I was really stuck on what to do once I actually did like the main portion of the build, like the main structure. So I actually decided to come back to that at the very end. I did the little porch like platform area. There is a seating area over there. There is also some planters, or kind of like some fake planters that I've already got ready, you know, like bushes already in them, like shrubs already in them. But the actual like open area of the build that's not covered by a platform, I'll come back to at the very end. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to put there when I actually finished building, you know, the actual structure of the apartment. So I'll come back to it at the end, you'll see it at the very end of the video. But as you can see, now I've actually moved on to the upstairs portion, and I've started furnishing this little balcony area at the back. So it's got a hot tub. I really didn't know how to decorate this because I wanted it to be quite romantic, but I didn't know how to do it romantic and then still industrial. And so I decided to put a bunch of ivy behind the hot tub, and then I also have these little hanging lights from the Toddler Stuff pack. And then on the side there was kind of like this little kind of gap between the hot tub and the actual wall, and so what I decided to do was actually put a platform there and kind of make use of it as a shelf. So there's kind of like towels there. I think I also put some bottles of wine on there as well, so it's just a nice little area when your Sims get in and out of the hot tub. Maybe they want to pop their phone on the side so you know their phone don't get wet and stuff like that. But anyway, now moving on, I've now started furnishing the bedroom. So I don't think I've actually mentioned it yet, but this apartment has 2 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. As I don't imagine these Sims to have children, you know, kids are just not in the cards to them. Maybe not right now, maybe they will eventually, but I just don't see them having kids anytime soon. I decided to only do 2 bedrooms. There is this bedroom, which is the, you know, the main Sims bedroom, and then there is actually a bedroom next to it, which actually ends up being a guest bedroom because I didn't know what to do with it for the longest time. And I had so many different activities plopped all around the build, I couldn't just make it into an activity room. And so it ends up being a kind of like a spare bedroom. Maybe if you wanted to download this build and you wanted to have a butler, then there is a butler's bedroom. But currently, as you can see, I'm doing it the main bedroom. It's in here. I did actually use the new bed that we got from the kit. Now this bed, despite being over 1,000 simoleons, and it looks like quite a comfortable bed from what I think anyway, like if someone said to me, you've got to sleep in here for the night, or this is your bed, I would think, you know what, I'm going to get a proper good night's sleep because it looks like a nice bed. Well, according to The Sims, it's not, because your energy rating for this bed is 1, which means your Sims sleep cycle is going to take a very long time to get to fully rested, which basically means if your Sims wanted to go to sleep in this bed, they're going to be here till winter trying to get fully rested. I don't know why it's only a 1 energy rating. I actually looked, and the bed that we got from Outdoor Retreat, you know, like the blow up beds, they have an energy rating of, off memory, 4 and stress relief 1. So how comes a blow up bed, which is literally a portable bed, has a better rating for like sleep than like a 1,000 simoleon bed? It makes no sense. It was definitely something that wasn't properly checked before the kit went out, and I just really hope it gets fixed. But as well as the low energy rated bed, there is also a dressing table in the bedroom, as well as a little chest of drawers area, and then it does actually lead out onto a balcony, which I will come back to at the very end and furnish. But as you would have seen, I did just quickly do the little home office area. I wanted there to be a computer somewhere in this build. It is so necessary to have a computer or a laptop or something of the sort in every single residence, I feel like, in the game, because a computer offers so many different gameplay opportunities, and your Sims can order stuff on them, they can chat to people, they can play games, you know. There's a lot of things your Sims can do on a computer, and I feel like it's very necessary for every single house to have one. So I put one in the home office, as well as a little keyboard area, and then a bookcase, and now I have actually moved on into the bathroom. I really love this bathroom. It's kind of separated into 2 sections. So on the left hand side, we've kind of got the little shower cubicle area. I say cubicle, but it's massive. I say it's massive. It's big for a shower in The Sims 4. So it's kind of like a 4 tile shower, but the actual shower itself is actually 1 singular tile. But I kind of decorated it to make it look like that whole area would be somewhere where your Sims can, you know, stand and, you know, shower. But also in this bathroom, there is also a bath in front of the window. I also use this sink, which is from Dream Home Decorator, and I don't think I've ever actually used this sink before, because I never really seem to decorate my bathrooms quite modern, because a lot of the houses that I tend to do are quite, you know, traditional, quite suburban-y, and so I never seem to do them kind of bathrooms. But anyway, now I have actually moved on into the guest bedroom butler's quarter. I was really stuck on what to do with this room, but I decided to make it into maybe a room for when these Sims have their friends come round, maybe they're having a party and maybe their friends have had a bit too many and they don't want to go home and they like, do you know what, just stay upstairs, we got a spare room for you. So this is kind of like a guest bedroom, butler's room. You can honestly make it into whatever you want it to be. Of course, it goes without saying, if you wanted to download this house and you had an idea for a family in mind that maybe had like 6 children or something, you could definitely have this penthouse have more bedrooms, and you could change the rooms to be depending on what you want them to be. You could change the home office, you could change the art studio upstairs, you could change the fashion photography room area. There's so many different rooms that you could change into be more bedrooms, but like I said, I don't imagine these Sims would have any children. It's just these two married Sims living together. Well, they're married to each other, that was really badly worded, but these two Sims, married couple, they're living together, they're living their best life, and they don't need any more bedrooms apart from this one, which is for their friends when maybe they've had a bit too many. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I've now moved on into kind of like this hallway area, which is on the same level as the bedrooms and the bathroom and the home office, but it's absolutely huge and I didn't know what to do with it, so I decided to make it into kind of like a little party area. Now I actually put the table tennis, or like the ping pong table, in the middle. I really wish that we had pool tables in The Sims, because I feel like a pool table would have just fitted so perfectly in the middle, and I feel like pool tables as well look a little bit industrial, so it would have kind of fitted with the theme. But unfortunately we don't have them in The Sims 4, and so I decided to opt for a table tennis table so your Sims can play ping pong together or beer pong or whatnot. There is also a little bar area in here as well, and there is also the decorational box for the season, so your Sims can kind of decorate depending on what kind of holiday it is. Now I actually put it underneath the staircase. Your Sims can't actually access it, but when, like in my own personal gameplay, sometimes there is actually an option where you can just click on it and you could just say decorate for like this holiday, like decorate for Winterfest or Love Day or whatever. So your Sims don't actually always have to access it, but of course if you actually want the animation of your Sims, you know, rumbling through all the different decorations, then you can definitely just move it into a different area. But now I've moved on into the third level of this penthouse, and I've started off by furnishing the art studio. Now let me tell you, if I was a Sim and I loved art, this would be my absolute, I do actually quite like art myself, but I'm not a Sim. If I was a Sim and I came around my mate's house and this was their artist studio, I would just do my pieces. This room is just so big and bright, it lets in so much light in, and I feel like so many Sims would get consistently inspired just stepping into this room. When I was actually building the structure for the third level of the penthouse, I made sure that there was this one room that kind of stood that had windows on at least 3 of the sides, so when your Sims actually stand there and they do their painting, they can kind of look in pretty much any direction that they want to and, you know, get inspired by the city. It's just such a beautiful room and I really love it. But now moving on, I've now started furnishing the photo studio area. So this room is actually separated into 2 different rooms. So you actually walk through the doors and it's kind of into the dressing room area, and then you walk through the archway and it's actually the photo studio as such. So there is actually a photo studio that comes with the Sims 4 Get to Work, but it's much bigger than the one that I've actually used, and it's already got the lights built in, and I kind of wanted to build my own lights around it. So I used the one which is from the Moschino pack, but the good thing about this backdrop as well, unlike the Get to Work one, you can actually change the colour of the backdrop. So if you wanted to have like a polka dot backdrop, you can. If you wanted to have a black one or a grey one or whatever colour you want that is in the swatches, because I can't remember off the top of my head all the different swatches, but you can kind of change it out depending on what your Sims, you know, want to photograph that day. I then also placed loads of different lights from both Get Famous and the Moschino pack kind of behind it, as, you know, having it a nicely lit area. Some of them I actually purposely turned off because I feel like they wouldn't be using every single light consistently, and so I turned some of them off with a tool mod, because if you see me like rotate things or make things go up or down or something and a menu pops up and the object goes green, that is a tool mod, by the way. I use it consistently now. I've only recently just got it, probably around about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe longer. I'm obsessed with this mod and I don't think I'll ever take it out of my game, but if you're wondering how I do that, it's from the tool mod and it's consistently linked in the description box down below to Twisted Mex's website, which is the creator of the mod. But also in the dressing room area, I actually placed down one of the hair and makeup stations that we also got from Get Famous, and then their little wardrobe station, so your Sims can actually stand on that wardrobe station, get their outfits changed, and then sit at the makeup station and actually get their hair and makeup done. I feel like this photographer, you know, hires different makeup artists and hairstylists and whatnot to come and do all the models' hair, and so it would make sense for there to actually be like a dedicated section for your, you know, your Sims models to actually get their hair and makeup done and to put on the correct outfit. But as you can see, I'm currently just doing this little hallway area. So in here, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit kind of like not that well put together. So what I mean by that is I purposely put a clothes rail out here because I was thinking, this clothes rail is from Get Famous as well, by the way, but I was thinking that maybe these are clothes that are maybe going to be in next week's fashion shoot, and so they're not required to be in the dressing room right now. And then out there as well, I put some like extra lights. Again, I turn them off. The third level of this penthouse basically ends up being the work area. So, you know, on the first floor and the second floor, you've got your bedrooms, your kitchen and your whatnot. And then if you actually move up onto the third floor, it's kind of the rooms that are needed for these Sims careers. And so you've got the photo studio, you've got the art studio, you've got everything that your Sims would need related to the artist career and also the fashion photography career. But now moving back outside of the penthouse, I'm just going around and just adding some few extra details, some like air vents, some pipes. I think I also added some ivy here and there, just things that I felt like would fit in with this penthouse, which I didn't initially add when I was initially doing like the roof details and all the different like pipes and stuff that's up on the roof. But as you can see, on one of the balconies, I actually ended up putting one of the fire pits. Now that fire pit is from Outdoor Retreat, and we actually have two different versions of it. We have one which is more, you know, like camping, like it's got all these stones around it. And then there's one that I've used which is a little bit more modern. I really hope that one day we get some more variations of that fire pit, maybe like a metallic-y looking one, or maybe just a little bit more of an industrial looking one, because I really like it, but I feel like it doesn't fit in with a lot of builds. I feel like it has to be a particular kind of build to be able to use it and for it to make sense. But as you can see, I also did just quickly do the balcony, which is the balcony from the kind of like main bedroom. Up there we have some sunbeds, and there is also some planters. And now I've actually moved back downstairs to kind of like the main balcony area, or like the main, I don't know what to class it as, edge, floor. This area that's not basically surrounded by a platform or anything like that. But over here I decided to do the same thing that I did in the lounge room with this coffee table by using the wooden planks. And I also finally added a fence around the edge of this penthouse, because if I didn't, it would be very dangerous, because it's quite a high penthouse, and before like 5 minutes ago I didn't have a fence around the edge of it. But anyway guys, I am actually going to end this voiceover here. So as always, you can download this build via the gallery. My origin ID is JessicapieYT, or you can just search for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, if you do like my content then please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speedbuilding video. Bye guys.